I wanted to talk a little bit about getting prepared. Are you prepared? How do you get prepared? How did I start? Well, we started watching YouTube videos. We did, we started with bug out bags, and we did dipping cotton balls in wax for fire starters and just little things like that. We started getting matches, and we send away for the Patriot. If you're a first time person using them, you can get a 3-day supply for $10, and totally worth it. So we got that. So we thought we had everything in our bug out bags that we could possibly think of to put in there, medicines, and we added more things along the way after watching different videos. And it's like, oh, we forgot about that. Yeah, what if that happened? So, but duct tape your friend. Gotta have some of that. String, canvas, tarp, some kind of tarp. Then we got these little mini fishing poles, and by the time we knew it, we had probably about 6 bags. And I said, how the hell are we ever going to carry that? And then we came to the realization that we probably weren't going to bug out, because we bought this huge Victorian, and we thought, geez, we should bug in. So, I mean, I can't even imagine what would make us, well, I can't imagine that would leave the house, but we don't want to leave the house. So what can we do to keep ourselves here? So we started learning about food preservation. So we got a dehydrator and started dehydrating everything under the sun. Some good, some not so good. Because what I found was dehydrating. Here's what I think dehydrating is good for. Soups, long-term cooking. Because it takes a while, because if you want to rehydrate stuff, you got to put it in boiling water, and then you got to wait a while. Or the easiest thing is if you're making soups, something that's cooking a while, then you can put it in that, and it comes back pretty well. I dehydrated baby carrots, and they shriveled up to nothing, and then I left them in water overnight, and I'll be damned, it just exploded back to where it was. I was like, no shit. But yeah, it takes a while. But dehydrating's a good thing. I know a lot of people do frozen veggies and stuff. I personally only like the frozen veggies. I don't like canned. So I have not canned a lot of vegetables, because I don't like the ones in the store, though I'm told they're different. I don't know if that's true or not, but we gotta do something. I mean, there's certain canned foods we'd eat, and there's certain ones that absolutely not. Like frozen corn is the best. If it's not fresh, frozen. Canned just tastes like the can to me. And though I've learned ways along the way to make it not taste like a can, I'd rather not go through the process. But so that's kind of where we got started, was that. And I had a girlfriend that was canning, and she taught me a little bit, and she's like, oh, you should get a Tefal. Guess what? I love that Tefal. I've got an American too, but the Tefal is just so easy to use in pressure canning. So I gotta say, I haven't done a lot of water bathing, but pressure canning, I have done so much. We started out with simple things and graduated. But the easiest thing to can is cold packed meat. So easy to can. You just throw it in. We usually do, like, say, beef. We'll do that Montreal steak seasoning, which I saw in another video. You just put a scoop of that in there, and it's so good. Our favorite thing to make with beef is beef stroganoff out of those cans. Oh my God, it's so good. But we moved on. We canned chicken. Not a fan of chicken. Not in the bone anyways. I'm actually going to try some breasts and see if that is better, because I make a really good stew. And I'm thinking that that would be fine for that. But what else could you do? I mean, if you're going to self-preservation, you just keep trying different things. And we've probably been little preppers for probably about 4 years. And along the way, we found a lot of tricks. And I'm hoping that this channel will share some of them with you. I'm going to try to make more of canning videos and preservation videos, because I have gotten into a lot of things medicinal. I've learned how to make cough syrup and fire cider, and those things are the bomb for colds. And with, when COVID hit, I lost my job. And so now I have another job, but it doesn't have insurance. So I'm responsible. So I have no money to go to the doctor, so I better figure it out. So I started collecting herbs. And don't go to Amazon for herbs. There is a site that I found, and I was just scrolling around. I can't tell you what it is because I don't remember. But they gave me 10 pounds of mullein, which is great for cold, COPD, and euthanasia for 10 pounds. No, it was 1 pound for $10, sorry. Big difference. But anyways, the only sucky thing was the shipping. The shipping was ridiculous. I paid $30 for shipping. So I said, well, let's see how much it costs if I add more. So I ended up getting 2 mulleins and 1 echinacea, and I think it was $34 for shipping. That's a lot. But I figured the more I got, the better a deal it was, so I just went ahead and got it. But now I make mullein tea, which helps you breathe and helps with colds and stuff. And same thing with the echinacea. But then I learned how to dehydrate plants. So I saw that you could dehydrate goldenrod. Now, if anybody knows, like, a lot of people are allergic to goldenrod, and it gives them hay fever. So I said, well, I don't know how that's going to work out, because I get sneezy from it. So, but even dehydrating it, I was sneezing. But I made a tea into it, and I didn't sneeze, and I didn't get sick. It's so weird. But do your own research on herbs. But in the springtime, I'm going to go ahead and get myself all kinds of stuff now that I know. But I mean, I'm just learning a little at a time. So first it was dehydration, then it was canning. Now we're moving on to herbs. And I learned how to make a cream. Well, first it started off as salve for pain, because Steve's got bursitis and I've got arthritis and all kinds of other stuff going on. And so I decided to make this salve, and it's hard as my head. It was like, oh my God, it was hard to get out of the jar. It was like you had to scoop it with the back of your nail, but the pain went away instantly. So I was like, how could we figure this out where we're not going to have a hard time putting it on? Plus it's kind of oily, and then it's made with cayenne, so you get it in your eyes, and that's not good. Then you're crying. So I read about how to make lotion, and I decided to try to infuse the cayenne. I put some pot leaves in it, And I said, well, the cayenne would work fast, and then the pot would be everlasting, like maybe make it last a little longer, because the people that have used this have said the pain goes away instantly. So I was like, huh. So I infused the oils and then made the lotion, because the lotion calls for half a cup of oil. So instead of just using regular oil, I used the infused oil. And then I went with the process of making the lotion. Very easy. And it's going to cost you about $98 to get all the stuff you need, but very easy. And now you have this wonderful cream that's light and fluffy, and it will take away the pain instantly for most things. And some people say it only lasts like a half hour, but other people are just slapping that on, like just every few hours, and they said it's wonderful. I gave it to a girlfriend that had arthritis in her hands, and her hands were like this, and she couldn't move them. And I went over and gave her the salve first, but then this is why I made the lotion. I was worried that she's going to get it in her eyes. But she did say she was feeling relief. So when I went to her house after I made the lotion, and she's playing with a game on her phone like this. And I was like, oh, that shit works for you? She's like, oh my God. She goes, you don't even know how thankful I am that you made that for me, because it works amazing on my arthritis. So I will share a recipe soon enough, because I'm going to make another batch soon. But this stuff is amazing. And for people that live with arthritis, I'm like, I'll tell you a story. My right hip was hurting, so I said, you know what, I'll just put a little bit of that on. But I was running to the store, so I forgot about it. And I got into the store and realized that my other hip was hurting. And I was like, I didn't even know that one was hurting, because the other one hurt a lot. So I said, well, I better be even when I put it on. But it did. The other pain was gone. I was like, wow, that stuff does work. So I will share that. But with so many things going on in the world, and the big issue now is inflation. And if you go to the store, you're seeing it now. And the shipping containers are in big lines waiting to come to dock, and they're charging them a lot to dock. I don't even know why. It's like, what changed? But for some reason, it went up. And so now think about this. You've got food and medical supplies and all kinds of stuff in these containers. And they're going to eventually get here. They're all waiting. But is the food going to be any good? Is it fresh fruit? What is it? I don't know. I'm sure there's some of everything. So my guess is that the food one is not going to be top grade anymore. It's probably going to be expiration dated quicker because it's waited so long. And then the price is going to go huge because they're charging them more to dock. And so I'm worried about that. And I have a lot of kids and a lot of grandkids, and they don't watch the news. Not that a lot of this stuff is on the news, but I mean, the shipping container sure is. And so is China telling their masses to stock up on food. It's going to be a hard winter. And now we already know that the Farmer's Almanac is predicting 4 blizzards this year. So our winter, whatever happens, is going to be hard anyways, which means probably we're going to lose power, and it's going to be hard. So my suggestion is in preservation of yourself is like, what are you going to need this winter? And that's where I'm telling people to start is like, stock up for winter. You know, get things that you love, because one, coffee prices are going up. How much do you love your coffee? Oh, they're saying to get bricks of coffee. Now, you don't see a lot of bricks in the store, but I'm sure you could find them if you really wanted them. I'm personally just stocking up on my favorite flavors because I love flavors. And I'm getting cans, tons of cans, because I don't want to be without coffee, especially in the winter. I'll be cold. So, but then you got to think about, do you have enough wood if you have a wood stove? Wood stoves are huge because if you lose power, your pellet stove's not going to work. So unless you have a generator to run that, do you have a generator? Last year, me and Steve got 2 generators. We got a solar one, which has 2 battery backups to hold all the juice in there. And I think we got the Blue Eddy. And then we got a Fireman, and it does either propane or gas. So we wanted options. So we need to have them come, the electric guy come in and install our generator to the panel, so we'll have some generation. But it's like, what else do we need for winter? Candles. What if the lights go out? Do you have flashlights? Do you have enough warm clothes and socks? Socks and underwear. I mean, what if you can't do laundry? Do you have enough to go for a week if that happened? Now, I don't know where y'all live, but over here, 1 October, 2 years ago, I think. No, actually, it's longer than that now. We lost power for a week. Some people like 2 weeks. We got this blizzard in October, and it knocked all the power out everywhere. And it was 40 degrees in our house. So, which means that we went to stay with somebody that had a wood stove. So do you really want to pack up with all your animals and try to find a place to go? I don't. So we do have a wood stove. We put one in the cellar. So if we have to live in the cellar for a week, we do it. You know, we can cook on top of it. We have our gas grill, so we have propane. And we did get extra propane in case. So if we have to cook on our grill, we can. So, but I'm going to tell you, if you haven't started prepping, to just prep for winter. And then go from there. There's so many things to do. And I'll keep putting videos up of different things I prep. But I'm prepping for me, my children, and my grandkids. You're just going to prep for yourself. Unless, of course, you're in the same situation and I am, and you're probably worried like I am. Because those dummies aren't even thinking about anything. I mean, I tell them, you need to have extra food. Okay, Mom. Okay. You know what my daughter told me? She said, Mom, you sound like my grandma. And Grandma is a Jehovah. And every time she sees the kids, she preaches to them. And she said that I sound like her. And I'm like her, and I won't anymore. I'm not going to do that to them if it bothers them. I'm just going to have to prep for them. Because I'm not letting my kids go without. And I know that if they were really hurting and they had no food, they know I do. Because I think of them. Well, so sorry for the interruption, but that was Steve. He's out looking for jars for me. And I think there is no more in the world. He managed to find a few. But I need to preserve some corned beef to make room in my freezer. And then I'm worried about, if we lose power, what's going to happen to all that food? And though I can outside, what a pain in the butt that would be. So I want to have a lot of food already canned that I like. You know, I'm not going to can my steaks. But if you're Alaskan prepper Rudy, he just showed a video on canning prime rib. I was like, not prime rib, ribeye. which is my favorite cut of meat. And I cried watching him. He took potatoes and carrots and onions and he put it in a jar. And then he threw some spices in there and salt and pepper. And then he shoved that piece of ribeye in there and canned it. And he said it was so good. So, I mean, you could do it. You could do. I don't want to do that. I would rather have it on the grill or just yum. No, not that. If I had to, I would. But no. Nope, not for me. But it was fun watching him do it. So getting back to what can you do for yourself for winter is stock up on the things you love to eat. But also, because everything's going up, now let me tell you a story about vegetables. I was in Wally World, and I saw their vegetables on the end cap was 50 cents. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a couple cases. Not that I love it, but if there was none around, hell, I'd eat it. So I got myself some peas, some cream corn, because those are good for shepherd's pie, and some peas. And they also had those really tall cans for $1. So I got a case of those. And then I was looking for mushrooms. So I went to another store that's down the street called Big Y in our local area. And I was watching a lady ponder the shelves, and we just happened to be in front of the vegetables. And do you know that they're charging $1.50 for the same can of vegetable? I was like, what? And I said to the lady, you know you can get those for 50 cents at Walmart, right? I'm like, ugh. Because she's like, seeing if she wants to pay $1 or $1.50. And I'm like, no. No. But she was older and she was probably going to pay that. Nope, not going to do it. I sometimes just go to the grocery stores and I just walk around. Because you never know what they're clearancing. And they always have a little section that they clearance off. But they never have the damn prices on there. So you have to go find one of those scanny things and scan it and see if it's worth your while. Now, I found canned meat in that area, which is usually $2.99, and I got it for 80 cents a can. So you bet your butt I bought all of them. And sometimes you just find good deals. We found those strawberry wafer cookies. We like those. Those were only 50 cents. So we bought them all. No brainer. And this is kind of how we stocked up is, you know, we don't need to go shopping, but we look for deals. This is how we shop. We go around looking for deals. Like today we need jars, but we just go around looking and see what, we don't know what we're going to buy when we go to, granted, we're going to spend $300. You know, back in the day, I used to spend $300 for the whole entire month. And it lasted. It was 2 full carts of food. Not anymore. I mean, it wasn't even a full cart. We spent $300. So prices are going up. And so even if you don't think anything's going to happen, I would still stock up, because are you going to be able to afford all of the things that you love? And are you going to be able to find them? So what I did find while walking around the stores is that a lot of my favorite brands are not there. And yeah, I mean, sometimes you can get the no-name brand, but there's some things that you just want to have that brand, and they're not there. And that is scary, because the way of life that you know it and the things that you love are not going to be the same. So when I asked the store what's going on, she said, I don't know. They didn't send it. They sent this kind. So there's whole new brands that I've never even heard of in the stores. And so I usually get tomatoes, diced tomatoes, and I've always for years stocked up on diced tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, because you can use them for so many things. And I like to stock up on the no name because it doesn't matter. And they're not there. There is no name. So now for something that you were paying 89 cents for is $1.50. The prices are going up so high. I went to 99 Meat Outlet. You know, some things I wouldn't buy there. But I do buy fresh meat there. And we look for ribeye. Oh, he's calling me again. I'll bring you back. Sorry about that. We're still looking for jars. He found some at a place called Clem's. So now we have been able to get 4 largemouth pints and 4 small mouth pints. And he just found the big jars. They're smallmouth, but he said they did have some. So I'm like, well, get them because we can't find them anywhere. And the best secret was that Ace Hardware had them. And somebody let that cat out of the bag because they're all gone. And they're charging $14.99 a case now. They're gouging. So, and they were $8.99 when they had tons of them. So that sucks. And I don't understand how they can do that, but they do. So that sucks a little bit. But because I know that I have a lot of canning to do, I have to pay it. Because I'm not going to be without cans, to can the meat that I actually have out right now thawing to put in jars. So, but I'll bring you back for that because let me tell you, canning, this is what I did. And I'm not even kidding you how good this is. So I took chunks, I just cut it into chunks and threw chunks of corned beef in a jar with those little beady things that you get. And I actually bought a can, it's called pickling spice. So I bought a little jar of that, so I have extra. So I take, I put the little beads in a thing and I put in, I think it was 1/4 teaspoon in each jar. And then I don't put any water in it. I just wipe the covers down, or the lids, and then I put them in the canner for 90 minutes at 10 pounds per pressure for my area. And then in another canner, I do potatoes and cabbage. And I also put pickling stuff in there too. And so when they're all done, when I want a boiled dinner, here's what you do. You just put it in a pan. And you put the juice and everything in there from the meat. And you put your potatoes and your cabbage in there, your carrots, onions, or whatever you want in there. And you just bring it to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer. And it's ready when the potatoes are hot inside. Oh my God. It tastes so fresh. That's the easiest boiled dinner I have ever had. And I can have it anytime I want, because it's a process. You have to wait forever. And now whenever I want, it used to be once a year, wait for corned beef and gouge yourself full of it. And when I have my kids over, I buy like 20 of them because there's 21 grandkids and 7 kids. Yeah, it's a lot. So, and some of my son-in-laws can eat a whole one themselves, the little hogs. So, but yeah, it's delicious. And if they come over and they say, boy, I haven't had that in a while, I can whip 1 jar out for them. Well, 3 jars, because I put it all in separate jars. And then I can just throw it in the pan and voila, there you go. But there's so many quick ideas, and I've played with many, like rice. Now, there is a YouTuber out there, Heart Home or Heart. Where the heart, I don't know, but she's a nice lady, and she makes all kinds of stuff and makes all kinds of videos. And she made jasmine rice, parboiled, I think, parboiled rice she used. And so I did her recipe, and what I found is that it's edible, but it's so mushy. And I'm like, I don't know. So, but I watched a couple more, and this is do your research and figure out what you like. I found another guy doing it, and he threw like a quarter of a cup in of rice, like enough water, some butter, and I liked his better. Why? Because it was firmer. It wasn't soupy. So not that I won't eat the other ones, because I did make some, but I would prefer to have it a little more thicker. But I mean, also macaroni and cheese, shit, you can make that and put it in a jar. I've done it. Do a quarter cup of macaroni, and you make this, that nacho cheese sauce you get in a big can, or Walmart has them in pouches. You just put equal amounts of water in that, and you just put the jar in there and throw it in up to the lid. I'll actually put a little less. And it comes out so creamy. I was just like, really? This is good. So, but then you start getting creative. And so we love buffalo chicken. And I was like, I wonder if you could put that sauce in with the macaroni and cheese. So, but, it's funny. I put Red Hot in there with it, but I forgot the ranch. So the ranch cools it off. And yeah. So next time, I'm going to try using ranch and hot sauce. And I'm thinking, well, geez, I could even probably make a whole batch of that. But you know that when you're making buffalo chicken, you put cream cheese in it. So that's not there. That's missing. But it's still good. I mean, there's so many things that you could can. When I first started canning, everybody was telling you to put water. Like, so you put potatoes in the jar and you fill it up with water. It comes out mushy. Why? So I tried it with a tablespoon of butter, a quart of potatoes, and salt and pepper, and just put it in a canner. These are like so good. So I do that for carrots. I do that for a lot of veggies now. I don't put water in it because it gets mushy. Who wants mushy vegetables? So now chopping it up in chunks, you can pull one out and fry it up for breakfast. Or you can put it in a stew, like instant stew. Think about it. Because you got your potatoes, your carrots, and we didn't soak them in water, so they have no taste. And then your chunks of beef, and all you got to do is add your stock. That's another thing I learned how to do, is making stock. There is this little French guy on YouTube. His name's Pierre. I can't remember his last. Jean-Pierre, maybe? He's funny as shit. He reminds me of the old cook that used to drink the sherry. Can't think of her name. But not that he's drinking or anything, but he's just funny. And I enjoy watching him, but I learned how to make stock that actually tasted really yummy. So when I made his chicken stock, and it's so many veggies go into this stock, and he gives you cheating ways to do it. So if you don't have like the beef stock, there is one with the bone, but there's one without the bone, and he just uses the cans, those boxes you get with the stock. He just uses those. So he uses 4 of those and 4 big bowls of veggies. And his main ingredients are onions, leeks, carrots, and celery. That's it. And then he lets it cook. Chicken, he lets cook for an hour. No, 4 hours. And the beef, he lets cook overnight, which I did. And he puts tomato paste in it. I'm like, what? It's good. It's good. So, but anyways, that is that for now. If I can help you in any way, come up with ideas of what you could do. If you need help, you can put a comment down in the section, and I'll try to help you. And you can do this. You can definitely get this done, and it doesn't need to be really quick. But the biggest thing is to watch the sales, and that's when you're going to stock up on things. You're going to need beans and rice, and you're going to say to me, I don't like beans. Do you like chili? Sometimes people like chili and they don't like beans. I didn't like beans for a long time, and I have tried beans. I don't know how to cook them. I have them. And I have seen videos where people put the water in there, or broth, and then they just stick them in a canner. So, if I gotta, I got to. But God's honest truth is I like beans now. And especially all spiced up, they're pretty good, especially in a chili. But anyways, I spoke enough. But I'll make another rant. See you soon, Victoria Prepper. Out of here.